All right, we made it. Principle number 4. Okay, so we know yourself, you're knowing others, you're backing yourself. This is one Das, that we found a bit of an amazing experience, I suppose, for people that have sort of leveled up or transcended into, I suppose, level 4. If we're putting these in levels, they're kind of building blocks.
Nice.
And that is backing others. And to be honest, I don't think everyone can get to this place of truly backing others. I think some people sort of tap out along the journey. But I put a little blurb here of just like, watch the world become a beautiful place when you can transcend into service, into the backing of others. Das, I'd love to talk about this. I'd have a guess. It might go a little bit philosophical. Maybe it'll be just super practical. I'm really curious to know where we kind of go here, because to be honest, you guys watching this video right now, we've kind of had some brief chats about it, but we haven't really gone super deep ourselves into this topic.
Yes.
I'm really excited to have a conversation about this one. So what do you think, Stars?
Yeah.
What comes to mind when we talk about this principle?
So backing others is perhaps one of the scariest things that we can do, because as human beings, we are driven towards a state of more certainty, more control. We want to know that things are taken care of. Okay. But as soon as we entrust others to achieve a result for us, for them, and for the greater world at large, we are essentially entrusting that the control we're giving up is going to be better in the hands of someone else. And that's scary to admit. That's scary to release. That's scary to let go of. But as you've found, Steve, we've discussed it a couple of times in the first 3 principles, very quickly we discover that upon facing the fear, upon facing the challenge, upon facing the thing that is the thing that scares us most is the greatest reward. When you use courage to move towards that which scares you, the confidence on the other side affords you much greater gifts than the comfort that you had before you took the action. Does that make sense? Thoughts?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think it is a scary thing to do. I suppose what I want to dig into is like examples of backing others, and what does it look like? What are some practicalities around it? Because I think a lot of people get confused at how to do it. How do you back others? You know what I mean?
Okay, so let's start at the start then. So you mentioned before that backing others is a stage not many people get to. There probably needs to be some terms to be defined around that in terms of what you mean about that specifically.
Yeah.
So do you mean in particular business contexts only, sales contexts only? Because truth of the matter is, every day you go driving, you're backing others not to veer off the road right into front of your car.
For sure, right? I think what I'm getting at is, where does the end pointer point? So I'll give you an example. Sometimes people may back others to ultimately then the final pointer still comes back to point and serve themselves.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example of, I know that we got a lot of coaches and consultants or people that are in a service business that are designed to help other people succeed, right? I think a lot of people go, yeah, I'm going to back them, because if I back them, they'll be successful, which means I get paid.
Tell me more. Perhaps a clearer example.
Okay, so let's say you're in a sales training business.
Okay.
And your job is to help businesses grow.
Yes.
And so you get into a position as a facilitator of training, whatever else it may be. Even us, okay, I'll use the example of the sales game. We want everyone that comes into the sales game to have a phenomenal experience and really change their lives and really create an education revolution that goes far beyond us.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like that's the thing that probably inspires us more than anything, is that we could literally reform education and help it become modern enough to align with where we actually are in the trajectory of humanity, right?
Yes.
So where does the end pointer go? It goes beyond us. It goes, like, if you were to draw a line with an arrow and a pointer, it points outside of ourselves through the attendees of the facilitating, like for the sales game, and then ultimately points into the reformation of education.
Gotcha. Yep. Makes sense.
That is backing others, right? And that's fulfilling to us. Essentially, we don't want to make the sales game or even this form of education about us ultimately.
Got you. Yes.
In fact, we don't want to become famous. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yes.
We prefer
yes.
to just, that's what I mean. But sometimes what can happen is we do that facilitation of, let's make sure our attendees of the sales camp have a phenomenal experience so that it makes us look really good.
Yes.
Does that make sense? It's almost
Makes perfect sense.
It's almost like a false backing.
Gotcha.
It's like those people that will give you a compliment, but the only reason they're giving you a compliment is so that they get the compliment back.
Gotcha.
It's a reverse backing. You know what I mean? I think what I'm saying is I don't think many people truly get to the place of backing others where the pointer actually continually points outside of themselves. It doesn't curve back in. At no point does it curve back in. Some people never get there because they essentially want the point to get back to them.
Yes. Yes.
And so that's what I mean. It becomes a beautiful place is when it comes down to it's a place of sacrifice. It's a place of surrender, and it's a place of greater good, bigger and outside of yourself. It's the drawing nature out, which
Nice.
I'm really driven by. I don't know how you get there other than maybe experiencing how damn good it is when you don't have the pointer continually
that's
pointing
deep.
back in on yourself.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So I would suggest, I'm of the belief that we only move forward out of pain. Okay. So I believe that's very biologically driven where, not only move forward by pain. That's not the truth. The large majority of the time, we only move forward by pain.
For sure.
And so my suggestion would be, so you've said, you don't know why people would be driven towards backing others as their sole purpose. And I would suggest that, yes, they would do it once they've done it once because they realize how good that feels and how fulfilling that is to do it. But you've got to ask the question, what drove them to do it the first time?
For
and
sure.
my suggestion would be the first time would be because they realized, and I think this will resonate with a lot of people watching this right now, is they've realized that no matter how much money they make, no matter how many clients they have on the books, no matter how many trophies they've got on the wall, no matter how many
likes and views and
all of it, no matter all of that, how they still lay in bed at night and go, there's still something missing. It's still unfulfilling. And they do that enough years in a row to finally go, okay, I get it. It's not about me. It can't be about me because this doesn't feel good. Mm-hmm. When you're onto something when it feels good to do it. Sure. When it feels fulfilling, when it feels right, when it's smooth and it's in flow. So I would suggest that the first time comes from, like you said before, a surrendering to the fact that this isn't about us.
Yeah.
And I think we just officially started a cult. The sales game officially became a cult just then. It's like, surrender yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, not about you. It's not like that, but it's more of like just a way of living life that if it's not for others, if it's not about serving others, if it's not about making their life better, then it's not going to be near as fulfilling as you wish life to be. And the beauty of it is this, Steve, once you actually live this way, ironically enough, financially, the likes on the LinkedIn, all of them, ironically enough, get taken care of themselves and they go flying through the roof.
Yeah. It's so cool. Kind of reminds me of the podcast chat we were having yesterday with JT and Diff on The Pursuit of Love. There's plenty more in there. If this kind of conversation is intriguing to you, just find, go searching for the Pursuit of Love podcast and find an episode 19, I believe it was.
Yes.
I think you'll enjoy where this is going. Strangely enough, I think the game is a facilitator of this on a part level. I think this is an ongoing journey. But there's plenty of simulations where you realize collectively joy is experienced when you point outside of yourself.
Yes. Nice.
And misery is what people feel sometimes when they have it always curving in.
Yes.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting. But hopefully that's been a real thought starter.
Totally. Yeah. Well, this is the thing is that there's the practicality. We want to add as much practicality to this as possible. Sure, yeah. But this one is so conceptual and it really does, it becomes something that I would suggest people will stumble across, fall into, or surrender to at some stage in their business journey and their sales journey, where they realize, I got what Steve and Darcy said, that time when I listened to that video, But now I feel like I'm really getting it. And to be honest, Steve, I think it's a lesson you get over and over and over and over and over again. It never ends. In fact, all four principles never end. Yeah.
They just spiral. They just spiral up.
Yeah.
To add an element of practicality, and just try this on. This is something I've been consciously trying to do myself, is when you see someone to be, just try it on, almost like a coat, like put it on for a moment, like setting intentions in the way that you actually see the world and see the other person, is try the coat on of genuinely wanting to see them do really well in whatever it is they're wanting to do, for no other reason than it'll be really good for them.
Yeah, nice.
And I think you can consciously do that, to be genuinely happy for people, or to put genuine encouragement into other people's lives, to make them, to help them succeed in whatever it is that they want to do. It's almost like the analogy of like the proud parents on the sidelines of seeing their kids run in the running carnival or whatever. Like you just genuinely want to see your kids do well, the best they can at whatever it is they're doing, for no other reason than it's good for them.
Yes.
And at no point, this is where you need to catch your thinking, at no point do you let it curve back in on you. Good or bad. You're just like, no, it's about them. And you just keep pointing.
Yes.
It's a really practical way of doing it. So.
Love it. Questions, thoughts, comments. A lot of questions on this one would be good. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
We will see you on the next video.